Hey gang, it's Tim. Welcome to Winning Wednesday, the sales email. So today, believe it or not, I want to talk about going slow. So there is so much emphasis on velocity, moving faster, getting faster, more leads now, more leads faster. One call close. Listen, the one call close, it exists. It's true. It's like Bigfoot. People have seen it, and some may even, talk to it or taken pictures of it. But it's not a regular thing. The one call close exists, but it should not be your goal because the one call close is not actually a mark of efficiency. The one call close is actually the mark of a rushed decisioning process. So if you are pushing your prospect to close in a single call, you are not giving yourself enough time to show your value. All you are doing is showing them that you can walk through a sales call. Now, you should get to, at some point, if you're sure that this person is right, you should get to some point where you were doing something that approximates a close, like, is that interesting? Let me put something together and talk again or whatever. But I want you to really think about what you're asking. So one call close, introduction, schedule a call, get on a call, close the call, collect the money. Like, that's all stuff that's good for you, right? Because it sort of takes the pressure off. It's not super hard. There's no competition, blah, blah, right? So what it really means is that you aren't doing enough discovery. You are seeing a thing and making your service or product fit. And if your prospect is someone who wants to make a decision rapidly, sometimes that's a red flag, because if they're making a decision rapidly, it could be because they are under enormous stress and are looking for magic. And I see that all the time. And so it is better to actually have a slightly longer discovery process. That way you can put together better offers. You can have a close that happens very quickly, but they have considered it and their expectations will have been set well. And that means that they will be happier onboarding, and then frankly, they'll be happier customers. And so I want you to think about this as like sales smoldering, right? Like, this isn't sales on fire. Like, you've got to get to know the person. The relationships that last the longest typically are when people have taken time to get to know each other. Sometimes love at first sight happens, but not usually. So I really want you to think about taking the time to get to know your prospect so that you are sure that you can help, and that they are sure that they can benefit from your help, and that you understand how to work together, because that's going to create a longer lasting relationship. So here's something that I tell my clients quite often. So an immature company is thinking about what they can close this week. A slightly mature company is thinking about what opportunities they can close this month. A more mature company is thinking about the sales that they can close this quarter. And that's sort of like a good, like, when you've got to the point where you're thinking about sales in a quarterly time fashion, it means that your processes are pretty mature and that you are picking the right customers, generally speaking. Now, when you get much bigger, so some of the large agencies I've worked with, they were thinking about who I could close this year. And when I worked at after my first acquisition, we worked with the customer in a pre-sales capacity for almost a year before they said yes. And that relationship, and so that was in 2008, I think. 2009. Or I guess we closed in 2010. And today it is, holy guacamole, it's 2020, and that relationship is still with that agency. And so much of that came from the fact that there were no surprises because we knew these people so well. And so when that deal landed, yes, it took a long time and it was hard, but it was not an everyday, all the time kind of sales process. It was, hey, how are you? We've met, we've engaged, here's some data, come to this event. Would you like to know this person? And so those kinds of relationships where you actually develop a relationship and a true understanding are the relationships that go from, in this case, it was already a 6-figure year of business, and now I understand that this is probably like a high 7-figure a year business for the agency at this point. So like, that's exciting. That's the kind of deal we all want. Those deals don't come from oh, hey, you downloaded my lead magnet, click on my calendar link and let me close you. Take the time, get to know each other, get to know how you can help, get to know if the way that you can help is the most valuable thing that this client can do. And when you're both in agreement, then close. And that can take, I don't know, 2 calls, sometimes 3. Crazy talk, I know. But don't think about the 1-call close. If you are not closing what you want, it's probably because your expectations are wrong. Try doing a triage call and then a presentation to close. Try doing a discovery call and then a presentation to close. Try doing a bunch of qualifying activities, and then getting them to tell you what's going on, and then try closing, right? I mean, so stretch it out, because frankly, it takes time to make relationships. And that's what this is all about. Thanks for coming to Winning Wednesday. See you soon.